Now for part 2. Now certain things put us at risk for pornography use and make disconnection more likely. Now we all have a physical immune system, and that gets rid of disease and infection. When our physical immune system is strong, we fight disease quickly. If it becomes compromised, an infection becomes MRSA, or a cold turns to pneumonia and hospitalization. Now for some individuals, they're so compromised that their cells habitually generate tumors and cancer because their immune system is so weak. Now, knowing that we have a physical immune system, I think it's important that you also realize that we have a mental immune system. And when our mental immunity is strong, we are less likely to get involved in destructive patterns of thought or behavior. But if we're in a weakened state, even the smallest of things can put us at risk for poor decisions and dangerously unhealthy mental states and impulsive behaviors. Now, I want to give you 4 simple ways to enhance your mental immunity and make you less at risk to fall into that use of pornography, because pornography use will happen when we're most, at our lowest points, when our mental immunity is low. I think first off, it's important to see the mind as a garden, and in that way we want to water the flowers, not the weeds. Pornography is a weed, and the water is our attention. We want to starve the attention to disordered behaviors and feed the areas needed to maintain and grow both physical and sexual intimacy in marriage. Now, one of the ways I remember this is the acronym PIES, or P-I-E-S. So the P stands for your physical body. Certain foods, alcohol, and drugs all have an impact on the mood and cognition. Recognize which foods bring on guilt, anger, frustration, or self-hate. I encourage you to eat the foods that increase positive emotions and increase your energy. Remember, we make poor decisions when we're fatigued. Vince Lombardi's famously quoted saying, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." So with the best of intentions, with no sleep or a poor diet, we're sure to run into problems. Also, watch out for overeating, as when we lose control in one area of our life, we start to lose control in others. Now, you'll also want to keep watch on your exercise as well as your sleep. And we want to optimize our energy flow. The more energy that we experience, the greater experience of life, the better ability to handle temptation, stress, frustration. Now, without energy, we miss out on our lives, and we struggle to maintain focus on the things that matter in life, especially our spouse. Now, the I stands for our intellectual life. Now, we need to maintain a healthy mental diet. What do you put in your mind? Whatever it is impacts you. If the greatest mental stimulus you've had in the last 10 years has been watching Deadpool, well, I'm concerned. Reality of it is that media, movies, music, books, gossip, everything under the sun within that category there, they all impact your mental state, and they can rob you of peace, or they can give you peace, or they can give you a greater intelligence and insight, or make us feel dumb and inadequate and ugly. You want to engage in conversations of hope rather than despair and gossip, and consume ideas that enhance our mood, and limit the ideas that upset you. If you watch the news all the time, it's fear, shame, fear, anger. Some people literally will watch the news, for 20, 30, 2 hours, whatever, and they'll literally listen to things that upset them. And it makes them angry, and for whatever reason, they continue to do it. Remember, there's an off button to your television and to your radio. Also, engage in behaviors and habits that support creativity and develop your mind. Find hobbies. Find your hidden talents that you don't use. Things that you're passionate about. We need to find safe places to fail, grow. And that means trying new things and learning. And we also need a safe place to ask important questions about our life. When we are in balance, what we'll find is that we become artists. We create beautiful dinners, or we learn to sew or play an instrument. We paint, or we tell stories, or we journal, or write poetry. So watch for that as you get in balance. Now the E stands for your emotional life. Now I've been around death a lot, and one thing that everyone seems to make very clear to me is that life is about relationships. Spend time with the people that love you and validate your worth, and avoid or limit the contact with the people that rob you of your identity or deplete your energy. You've ever been at a party or in a gathering where the person that you're around is just a complete downer or just so filled with negativity that it's exhausting to be in their presence. Well, you don't need to be around all of those people. A colleague of mine used to call them emotional vampires. It sounds poetic, sad, true. The other thing is when we think about our emotional life, is that we, for whatever reason, rejection creates obsession. So be mindful of that. We're not going to make everybody happy. We're not going to be everyone's best friend. But take responsibility for your relationships. As adults, one of the big components that we struggle with is entropy. The fact that as we get older, we actually get further and further apart unless we're diligent and we take the discipline to reach out to our family or friends or siblings and keep up on the friendships. Now, in relationships that are a lot of times besieged by pornography or affected with all these the issues that come with it, the men and the women usually have no same-gendered friends. That's a common occurrence. The men have no friends, really. The women don't spend time outside the home with their friends. The two are just constantly focused on each other. And usually that's ripe for destructive patterns. So what you want to see is and reach out to people that are of the same gender, whether it's men with male friends and women with female friends. Why? Because the masculine and the feminine hearts are mysterious. That's why we're so attracted to each other. But we need friends of the same gender because they give us validation and understanding. They actually get what we're going through. Otherwise, we have distorted expectations on our spouses. And the aspects of pornography are different. Because they play off different types of fear. And with men get more afraid that they don't have what it takes. And pornography in many ways lets that play out in an unhealthy way. And in another way, women feel that they're just not enough. And that's an incredibly destructive way of thinking also. So you see the setup is ripe for a lot of pain. So find same gender friends and make sure that you help your spouse keep up with them. They make us feel more alive and more like ourselves. Make us better spouses. And also hold us accountable to our goals. Now, the S stands for spiritual life. Now, in all people, spirituality is present, and that just means that we have a desire to connect to something beyond ourselves. We want to transcend the human experience. Spirituality advances our experience of purpose and meaning in our lives. This can be our prayer, our religious practice, meditation, volunteering, or pursuit of any number of our dreams. And remember, when we stop dreaming, our spiritual lives start to die. And so I encourage you to spend time with your spouse and talk to them about what their dreams are and help them pursue their dreams. The more you help your spouse pursue their dreams, the more alive you both become and the deeper your spiritual life grows.